All right, Mayor Robert, welcome back to Mayor's Monday. Good to be back here. Good to have a nice walk down here to City Hall and the somewhat decent weather that we are having. That's going to change, of course, over the weekend. But what would we have to talk about if not for the weather, right?
If it wasn't for the weather, what else would we have to complain and talk about? I get blamed for that too, the Middle East, other issues going on, but that's okay. That's part of the job, and I accept that.
Yeah, part of the job too. You gotta kind of manage the city budgets as well. And one thing that always is kind of on the mind is how's the snow removal budget going, because that's the one thing you can budget for,
Right.
but you have absolutely no control over it. So every time kind of one of these systems moves through in the month of April and leaves us 6 inches to 12 inches of snow, people kind of wonder about that.
Well, and going through to the month of April, we were ahead of schedule and ahead of budget. We still are at this point. Hopefully we won't have too many more blizzards like we had here in April. I've been up here 48 years. I've never seen an April like this, but it is what it is. The good news is I've got the best snow removal crew and Department of Public Works that take care of everything from snow removal to burst pipes. That usually seems to happen on a Saturday night at midnight. Those folks really take care of the city and do a great job, and I can't say enough good things about them. I'm very appreciative that they're there, as are all people. They may not realize it at the time, but it's just one of those things that makes the city work so well.
Yeah, it's kind of like a good lawyer. You never think about having one until you absolutely need one.
Yeah, before I started this position, I never had to use a lawyer before, but that's another story for another time.
Absolutely, and of course, the Thomas Street proposal and project has kind of been on everybody's mind here lately. Now that we're on phase 2, moving forward, we've got the design ready to go. We're ready to move dirt on this. Kind of give us an update, especially for the people that are going to be losing their houses in that area. Of course, the city's going to be taking care of them.
Oh, big time, and that goes without saying. And really, the project itself will not start until 2019 as far as the construction. Right now, what they're starting to do is through MSA Real Estate Services and appraisals, going from house to house, talking with folks, be it the homeowners or tenants of a facility or something like that, rental property, to work with those folks, moving expenses. Everybody's going to be treated decently and fairly and honestly. And, the first part of Thomas Street, phase 1, really went off without a hitch. Phase 2, I understand, is a little bit more difficult. I know there's some people there that are very passionate about different things. But I can't stress this enough. People are going to be treated decently. And I'll even go one step further. All the experts tell us that we're fine as far as anything that might be there is treatable. It's actually a pretty easy fix. And I know we're going to be talking with some more toxicologists, people that work with this stuff, the experts, as far as removal or whatever has to be done, remediation to make sure the land is good to go. I cannot stress this enough to people and the residents in that area. You will be treated decently. If we find something bad or horrible, whatever, I will stop the project. But at this point, we don't see that happening. The experts tell us, the ones that do work with this stuff, that things are a go, it's a clear. And obviously, I'm going to be monitoring, and like I've done before, I've done testing before. I'm not opposed to doing it again, but we're going to do right over there. And not just from a moral stance, but because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely, and take care of those people and make sure that their needs are met, because and I was just down in Schofield earlier this week for the trailer park license.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And Mayor Craig down there just absolutely saying, I don't want to tell people, 100 people or so, that they're going to lose their homes,
Right.
but we can't have these problems. Well, you're somewhat in kind of the exact same position, that you're telling people they are going to lose their homes.
Well, and it seems the majority of folks, and actually, I don't want to talk about myself. I know I've mentioned this before on this radio broadcast. Compared to the past, I've even heard this from the residents in that area, the critics. The city has gone above and beyond as far as listening sessions, working with folks, accommodating them, doing more testing, holding the project up, hiring translators. A lot of residents over there, it seems the majority, whether they like us or not, have said we have been more than fair and tried to work with everybody. And we took our time. Now, I know there's some folks over there that are concerned about the ground and everything like that. I don't know what else I can do to reassure folks that we're gonna do the right thing. And it's kind of frustrating sometimes, because frankly, I understand it's a very passionate, very emotional issue. But sometimes when people get emotional, they don't use common sense. And that's not to be disrespectful sounding to anybody, but it's just frustrating that I don't know what more we can do to show folks this is what can be done. It's actually a very easy fix, and it's going to be done properly. And as I said earlier, if we do find something, I'll stop it. It's the right thing to do. You know, we're not just going to go full bore there just to get it done. I'm not like that, and I think that's been more than proven.
Mm-hmm.
Some folks, it's like everything else in life. You're never going to make them happy. But by and large, the majority of the residents that I've heard in that area, and from phase one too, which also went off without a hitch, most people are pretty happy and very satisfied with the way the city has treated them. And we will continue to treat people decently and honestly, and be it in a financial manner or whatever, just to make sure that things are done correctly.
And
That I give my word on.
absolutely, and we'll hold you to that. As
Oh, I
well.
know I will.
Yeah. So, and speaking of phase one project, a project that I think a lot of the people are going to be really excited about in the city is that some new market rates and affordable townhomes are going to be going up on the remaining parcels.
Correct.
There are 18 of them actually, 9 duplexes.
Right.
This is a pretty good project for this neighborhood, and it's not something you see in kind of an older neighborhood
No.
like this, new modern housing.
It's something to beautify. It's affordable housing, and then it's market rate type of housing. They're not all going to look the same or anything like that. There's going to be a variety, but it's another thing that we're trying to do as far as to beautify the area, beautify the neighborhood, get some affordable housing for those folks that need it, and then also market rate. You know, and they're also getting some commercial interest over there right now. You know, folks, it's whether you want to believe me or not, it's the truth. In a couple of years, I think people are going to realize a lot of this was just much ado about nothing. And that's not to be making anybody feel lightly or taking their situation in a light manner. It's just that, you know, we're going to do the right thing. And we're already off to a good start by doing that.
Yeah, and this project as well, and it's going to bring money back into the tax base because it is occurring largely outside of a TID district. Can you kind of, you know, for some people that might not have a grasp on what that means, just kind of explain to what that will mean for the tax
What
base?
that means, it builds up the tax base in those areas, in particular like Thomas Street, that area, because really there's not a lot going on there right now because this thing has been in flux for 16 years. 9 different city councils, 3 different mayors. Now that we finally got a resolution, there is interest in those areas, and as you said before, a lot of these things are going to be bringing back a tax base, which is what we need in the first place, but it's also going to be giving housing to different folks. It's and then also commercial interest over there as well. And you know, with TID financing and everything like that, this is just one of those things to help get something started. We get our money back, and we get everything back on the tax rolls, which is what ultimately we want to do in the first place. And then we also have a new road in that area. And going back to what I said earlier, as far as accommodations, you know, we've taken it out as far as different higher medians, working with different people in their driveways and stuff like that. Because even I got admit, there's some things on phase one I don't particularly like, but yet it doesn't seem like it's really been that much of a hindrance. Again, we've gone above and beyond and listened to the residents. Some of those folks I know we're never going to make happy. It's not for lack of trying, though.
Mm-hmm. One group of people is pretty happy too as well about another vote this week, and that's the firefighters on the west side. It looks like they're finally going to get a new fire station. Tell us just exactly how long this has been percolating.
Oh, this has been in the works for at least 10 years, and we've owned the land over there. It's been a long time coming. So many of our facilities are older and need to be replaced. This is station number 2 over on the west side. Purposely, I brought council members when they first started 2 years ago, and I'll get to that too. Now we have a new council as well. But I brought folks to these different facilities, one, to see employees and what they do in their mission and what they do for the city, but also to show them the facilities that, hey folks, I'm not BSing you. There's stuff that needs to be fixed, if not replaced. And fortunately, the city council's seen that. It took a little bit as far as getting the finance and everything, but that's going to be a go if everything goes right. The plans and the designs are going to be starting from now throughout the summer. If everything goes right, they'll start shovel ready in October to break ground there. And speaking of which, like I said, I told you about the new city council. Elections were held here a week or two ago. I'm excited about this new council. Good people. You know, I'm going to say this. That council that was here previously, the first 2 years, if you will, in my term, it was a very positive, very productive council. Didn't mean that we always agreed on everything.
Of course.
But unlike before, the nastiness and the personal bitterness that used to be around here, the drama and dysfunction, it's gone now. People do treat each other decently and respectfully. And like I said, you may not agree on everything. The other thing that I really liked about this last council is everybody did their homework. You know, there wasn't this long drawn-out process. It used to be meetings would last 2, 3, 4 hours. You'd have a member or two that would just sit there and pontificate with their ego. It's not that way anymore. You've got a really good bunch of people last time, and now I think we have a great group of people coming in this time as well. I'm really excited about the new council.
You're going to have, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 new members?
3
correct?
new members.
How important is it to have a couple new members coming in every time? You don't just want to get stale with something like this.
Well,
correct?
on a personal level, I believe in term limits. That's for myself. As far as for new people, it's always good to get change. And I appreciate the service that we had before with Sherry Evans, Romy Wagner, and Joe Jean. A lot of knowledge there, and more importantly, they truly cared about the city. The good news is with this new group of folks, Mike Martins, Don Herbst, and Mary Towle, smart, good, decent people. You know, they're energized, they're ready to take on the world, if you will. And it's good to have change, get a fresh perspective, new set of ideas. My thing is, if you want to say setting a tone, again, to be respectful to one another, but including the new members in all the operations and everything. They're assigned decent committees. I've tried to assign everybody their wish list, if you will, at least to be on one committee that they wanted to be on. And, you know, it's just to create that cohesion and that just that unity to make things work. And like I said, I think we're going to be off to another good start. Last council is going to be tough to top, but if one can do it, I think it's this one, honestly.
And what is, with the new council being seated here in the next week or so, what would be...
April 17th.
April 17th, correct. What would be the first item on your wish list for the new council, maybe?
Well, you know, ultimately, that is kind of up to them and whoever they elect as far as council president. Lisa Rasmussen has done just a terrific job. We get together, we communicate all the time. Really, that direction would have to be up to the council as far as, okay, what direction do you want to go? Do they want to change different rules or different assignments, that type of thing, as far as what they have that first night? That first night is kind of a formality. There is a ceremony, a swearing-in ceremony. They announce who they vote as far as the council president, and then they go over the issues that they kind of want to tackle. And then after that, you know, I guess where I would come in there is just to try to support them. Obviously, I have my things that I want to try to get done. You know, like I said, I can't say enough good things about the last council. It was a wonderful group of people, and we got so much done in a peaceful and positive manner. I know there'll be some of these critics out there say, oh, you guys just got along to get along. No, that wasn't the case whatsoever. We just didn't make it personal or nasty like it used to be around here. One thing I will say, as long as I'm mayor, we will never have those dark times here again. It's not a question of freedom of speech, it's just basic civility and decency and respect towards one another. We had it with this last group, we're going to have it with this group.
Anything else you'd like to add before we let you go here?
I'll be glad when the snow is gone.
I think we all will be.
Yeah.
Well, Mayor, we appreciate the time here. Look forward to chatting again next month.
Always, Michael. Thank you, Wausau. Take care.